Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and welcome to today's Saturday with Stacy YouTube class number 534. This is the last YouTube class for 2023. Who would have thought the year would go by like that? Honest to goodness, it has. But I have even more coming for you in 2024. I know we have a Monday class, we're going to have a Tuesday class, we have a Thursday class, and of course, Saturday with Stacy YouTube classes, which are technique-based, commercial-free. They are full length and they are meant to share and show with you all the wonderful products that you may already have in your crafty stash and introduce you to new ones as well. And that is what I'm doing today. Oh, my nose itches. So today is a do's and don'ts class here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. And I do not do these classes frequently. I have a do's and don'ts on the Sizzix switch machine. I've got a few of them on the Big Shot machine because it has evolved over the years. I have one on the Sidekick machine. I have one on the Go Press and Foil machine. There are reasons to do a do's and don'ts class, and typically it has to do with a tool or a machine that offers so much to a customer that they may not see all of the advantages of that tool or a machine in the beginning when they first get it. Do's and don'ts classes are also meant to, while showing you all of the wonderful do's, share with you a few of the maybe you shouldn't. Maybe don't do that with this tool or machine. And I'm hoping to bring that to you today. My do's and don'ts classes are very popular. Some of them have well over 1 million views. They are used by manufacturers as training tools. They are used by retail stores as training to their customers to help their customers learn how to use the Big Shot machine they just purchased. Absolutely. And that is what the intent of this class is today. I am featuring the Sizzix Stencil and Stamp tool. The do's and don'ts of the Sizzix Stencil and Stamp tool. I'm going to take you through everything I know about this tool and hopefully share with you some ideas or some tips or some tricks and answer some questions you may have. Now, some of you may have never heard of this tool before. It launched earlier this year, and so it's been out on the market for a while. There have been oodles of questions about it. There have been several different videos by several different people, but I'm not sure there's ever been one video that was comprehensive, that took you from the beginning all the way through to the end. And that's what I'm hoping to do. There is reasoning behind some of the things they did with this tool. And again, if you've never seen this tool before, well, you're in store for a treat today because I'm making nothing, but I'm going to show you technique after technique after technique with this and how to use it not just with Sizzix product, but with lots of different products and how to look at those products from other manufacturers in a way you're like, yeah, I wouldn't have thought to do that. And that is what makes my heart happy. That's what gets me all excited, is when I hear that you say, yeah, I hadn't thought of that until you mentioned it. To me, that's like gold. That's a wahoo kachoo moment. So I also want to let you know that while I am a Sizzix licensed designer, yes, I'm a licensed designer. They announced it this year. My first collection comes out in March. That is a different hat. I wear lots of hats here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. I wear the owner hat, and I wear the marketing hat, and I wear the accounting hat, and I wear lots of hats, and being a licensed designer for Sizzix is just another one of those hats. Today I'm coming to you as Stacy from Scrapbooking Made Simple, same as always. And now you know it's an SMS video because of the sirens. I'm not being paid for this video. I'm not being compensated. Sizzix has no idea what I'm going to say or do in this video. They are watching it just as you are, waiting to see what I do, because they are not given, no, this is my class, this is my video, and while I certainly am here to really show you everything about the tool, I don't want to come in with preconceived notions of what should be done. I want to approach it as if I am opening it for the first time with you. We bought it together, and now we're at your house having coffee and we're opening it together. So I don't give manufacturers the opportunity, and they will tell you this, I don't give them the opportunity to tell me what they think I should do in my videos. It's one of the biggest pluses of my videos, and maybe one of the biggest drawbacks, because sometimes I might miss something that they had intended, but I didn't get it. And if I don't get it when I'm opening it, I don't know that you'll get it either. So Sizzix does not know what's going to be said in this video, and I am definitely Stacy from Scrapbooking Made Simple, and this is a Saturday with Stacy class. Will there come times where I may put on my, hey, I'm a licensed designer for Sizzix hat? I'm sure that there will in the next year, but I will be sure you know the difference when that happens. It won't be Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, and by the way, licensed designer. I'll keep those hats very clear so you know who it is you're talking to, who it is you're spending time with. And on my Saturday with Stacy videos, my Monday video, well, all my videos so far, it's all Stacy Scrapbooking Made Simple. I just know that as a licensed designer, there might have been an idea that I am being paid or compensated for this video. No, I'm not. And because I am not, I am free to say anything and everything I want to say about this tool. Good, bad, indifferent, I want to jump up because I love it so much, or gosh, I would have changed that. And maybe by this video, Ellison may hear a few things, you know, that they go, oh, maybe that's a good idea, or maybe they've already thought of these things, but because I haven't discussed this class with them ahead of time, it is what it is. So today it is all about the do's and don'ts of the stencil and stamp platform. If you already own this tool, I'm hoping to answer questions for you. If you've never seen this tool, I'm hoping to answer questions for you. And if you've been on the fence about this tool, I'm hoping to answer questions for you so all of you can make an informed decision on how you want to use this tool. Do I think that most people will end up with this tool in their crafty arsenal at some point? I do. I know. Now see, this is Stacy Sizzix. I know some of the reasoning behind what they did and why they made the tool the size that they did. And I know some products that are perhaps under development that you will want this tool for. Can't tell you those now. I got to put my Stacy Scrapbooking Made Simple hat back on. Whew, that's hard. So I'm hoping that again, there's tips, there's tricks, there's information, there's ideas, there's reasoning behind you being able to make an informed decision. And Sizzix, I hope you like what I do, and if you don't, just know that everything I do is with the best of intentions and that I love everybody there immensely, but Stacy Scrapbooking Made Simple is as honest as she can be. And I think all of our customers, all of the SMS peeps who are just like me, appreciate that. My videos are not edited, they're not scripted, they're not dubbed, they're not voiceover, nothing. What we do together, we do together. And if you have this tool, put me on pause right now. Go run and get it, and let's do this together. And that way, your confidence will grow even more as you learn all the foundational elements of this tool. All right, so I have winner chicken dinner. Let's get that done. And then I'm going to tilt down and we're going to get started right away. I have a lot to show and a lot to share. So you may have to chunk this video up, but definitely either take notes. Here's my pause face. take notes. See if I don't blink, then I don't look weird. Okay, pause me, go get your paper and pencil. All right, back. So take notes or jot down the video number so that if you have this tool, you are always able to refer back to it. If you get this tool, you are able to refer back to it. And if you need a couple classes, watching this a couple times to decide if this tool is for you, you can refer back to it. All right, so winner, winner, chicken dinner, shall we? I can only imagine Ellison is watching right now going, what's she gonna do? That's what I love being Stacy Scrapbooking Made Simple, because nobody gets to say what I do in my YouTube classes. They are mine. That is why I am not a paid spokesperson. I do not get incentives or bonuses or money for doing my videos. No, no, no. It lets me say anything I want to say in a clear conscience. All right, so our first winner, winner, chicken dinner from YouTube number 533. These two lovely ladies have won a $25 gift card. I don't know if you want to spend it today. I don't know if you want to wait till January 1st. There's 2 videos on January 1st. I don't know if you want to go to the warehouse sale and find a few things. Who knows how you're going to spend your money, but you were smart enough to post a comment below. If you are watching this during the premiere, we are live chatting over here. It doesn't count. The live chat doesn't count. You have to post it below. If you don't post a comment below, you cannot win. And the comment can be as simple as, hey. That's all it needs to be. We will go ahead, we'll approve the comment, weed out all the spam, and then you go into running to be a winner, winner, chicken dinner. So our first winner is Shirley Yee. Hello, Shirley, congratulations to you. You have won a $25 gift card to Scrapbooking Made Simple, Wahoo Kachoo. Spend it on anything that makes your heart happy, but Shirley is not alone. She has a friend in Patricia. Patricia Lineberg? Is it a hard I or a soft? Lineberg or Lineberg? Hello, Patricia. You're a winner, winner, chicken dinner too. So whether it be Lineberg or Lineberg, you're fine with me because you just won $25. Congratulations to Patricia and Shirley. I am so excited for you. Now we do have the platform on sale, obviously, and we've got a smoking hot deal on it. So, and it will be drop shipped directly from Ellison, from Sizzix. So if you want to take $25 off the platform, wow, this is a great time to do that. But first watch the video to make sure you want the stencil and the stamp platform. Now we always have to do winner, winner, chicken dinner. Are you ready? It's a dance we do. I've been doing it for years. Patricia and Shirley, sit straight, get those shoulders back, and let's do it, shall we? You're a winner, chicken dinner. You're a winner, chicken dinner. Wahoo, kachoo, for you. Congratulations to both of you. Please spend your winnings any way that make your heart happy. And if you want the chance to be a winner, winner, chicken dinner, post, hey, or something else below. As long as it is kind, we will approve it. And then you go into the running. So for all of you, thank you for spending 2023 with me. Wait till you see what's coming in 2024. And let's get started with today's do's and don'ts of the Sizzix stencil and stamp tool. This is going to clear up so much for you. And you're either going to be, oh, I need that tool. You're going to be, thank gosh, I already own that tool. Or you're going to be, I think I can pass on that tool. And whatever your decision is, that is the right decision. All right, I'm going to tilt on down. Let's get started. Oh, it's a busy day. Busy, busy. Do's and don'ts classes are long and there's so much input to them, but my goodness gracious, for manufacturers to use them as a training tool, that makes my heart happy. All right, so here it is. This is the box. It is large, which is why we are not able to ship it directly from SMS. Sizzix is going to do the shipping for us on this. It's not heavy, the box is empty, but I want you to see the overall size. So the actual platform is a little bit bigger than an A4 size, and I'm going to bring the platform over now. All right, so here we go. Let me go down just a little bit more. All right, so here we go. You've got a lid. You've got instructions. You've got something that I call an alignment tool. And you've got a piece of Sizzix sticky grid. That's what comes in your box. Now I want to start with the base platform here without anything else being in it. First off, I want you to notice the lid. The lid will open and come right out and down. Open and down. It is the easiest lid removal I have. I mean, it's beautiful. When I saw this the first time, I had envy. Oh, did I ever. Love this. Push that down. Then the lid has two sides to it. It has one side that's gridded and you can hear it, and it has one side that's smooth. There is a reason for both sides. We will be playing with the smooth side a little bit later, and it doesn't really matter when you're storing it, whether the grid side up or grid side down. It will go back into the base tool regardless of which way you put it in. Now for today's purposes, we're going to get to using the lid a little bit later on, but I don't need it for most of what I'm doing today, so I can put it away. I want you to know that there's a foam base underneath, and this foam base gives stability to the tool. It really allows the tool to sit nicely, and it doesn't sink in. It's got some strength to it because it has that foam base filling up all of the negative space here. That foam base is a super big helpful part of this tool, and without that foam base, this tool would not be what it is. It needs this. It also comes with this little green, funky little adapter thing. I consider this an alignment tool. That is exactly what it is. It's an alignment tool that if I just had, let's say I just had this here, put it back in. Let's say the tool was sold just like this. This is what you got. A base platform and a sticky grid and some directions. Would I be wahoo kachoo about it? No, I won't. I would be like, yeah, nope, thank you. It is this one little thing that will change everything about this tool. This one little green piece of minty plastic changes absolutely everything about this tool. Can you use this one piece with any other tool? No, it was specifically designed, developed, and engineered to work with this platform. Is the platform larger than most? Yes, it is. It is an A4 size. It has perfect A4 paper, which is any of the opulent. Do you have the mystical or gold or any of the cardstock from Sizzix, the muted or the botanical or the everyday pack of cardstock? That is all A4 cardstock, and it will fit perfectly inside this tool. Most people will use the tool lengthwise. Some will use it on a horizontal. It's up to you. There is no right and there is no wrong. But without this, if you are using it with stencils, without this little tool, you are missing every beautiful, special element that this platform has. And again, it goes back to this. If it didn't have this, this would not work. So putting this aside, I want you to notice that there are two little nibs right here. 1, 2. That is not where you're going to put your stencil. It is where you go to store your adapter, your positioner, your alignment tool. That is what those two little nibs are for. So then you put your lid back on and you close it up and everything is where it's supposed to be. Now you're sure you have everything you need, and it's got a nice little space for it. It's not, it's not like loosey-goosey or something you want to try and tape to the bottom so you don't lose it. They put it right here, and this little piece just goes in and goes out. I also want you to notice that there's a little thumb, like a little dent, like a little thumb area, a little dent. And that's going to be an important thing a little bit later on. You can see it on the back. That's going to be an important thing. And they did this for a very specific reason. Everything Sizzix does is for a very specific reason. They take their time in building their tools. They don't pull tools out every month. It's not a new tool this month and a new tool that month. Usually their tools are under development and for quite some time because they want to get it right. They want you to be as successful with it as you can be. So this is the base of everything we're going to do with it today. There's very few parts. There's very little to lose, especially since you've got a place to store your alignment tool. Now it does come with instructions. Yes, they come in English, they come in French, they come in Spanish. So there is instructions. I can tell you that I am probably like most of you and don't look at the instructions far too often. I kind of am a let's fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl and figure out how it works, but it is there if you want to read them. I'm hoping that this video will answer more questions than perhaps, I mean, they can only put so much in a pamphlet. It can't be a book, right? So this also comes with a piece of sticky grid. Now, sticky grid was developed by Sizzix years ago, and it comes in smaller pieces because you use it for your die cutting machine, and it was meant to be able to hold dies in a specific place before you cut through. Sometimes you need to spell out a word, or you want a flower in a certain area, and the sticky grid would be able to go down and hold those dies so that you could then put your paper on top of it and send them through your machine, and it would cut exactly where you want it to be. They make sticky grid for the Sidekick machine. They make it for the Big Shot machine. It comes in several different sizes. This piece is an A4 sticky grid. And the reason it's A4 is because it is meant to hold paper. A4 paper should you choose. Do you have to use A4 paper with this tool all the time? Heavens no. It's up to you the size you want to use, but because they have A4 sticky grid, that means you can go as big as an A4 size. Now the sticky grid comes with a side that has a gridded area. Can you see that gridded area? And a side that does not. This is an important thing. When you go to release your sticky grid, first off, they were very smart and they gave little air, like a little band that you don't have to try and separate. There's a little band all the way down so you know you can pull this straight on up. So if I pull this up, I want to see the side that does not have a grid. And this is for the beginning purposes. You don't have to do this every time. This is a one-time thing until you need to change your sticky grid. But I want to see the side that doesn't have the grid printed on it. And I'm going to take that. Sticky grid is not an adhesive. It's not something that you then can put paper on and put it onto your card and it's going to stay. Sticky grid is kind of a post-it note tackiness to it that will release the paper without causing any damage, but has enough hold that it's going to keep something in place. Being that I've pulled my sticky grid liner off the side that doesn't have the printing, you can see the printing, I want to keep it on the back side. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put it right down on my platform. See, it's already starting to pull. Now another good way, And I don't think the back side has it. Another good way to know that you've got the top side on the top side is that there'll be a little Sizzix logo somewhere on the sticky grid. And that lets you know that's the side that should be facing you. If the side that's facing you, see, this is where that little thumb hold comes in. I'm able to pull up that sticky grid. If I didn't have that little thumb hole, it would be harder to get that up. But they've put that little right there for you. So if I pulled this up and I saw that there was a Sizzix logo somewhere on this back side, that means I have it down wrong. You want to make sure there's no Sizzix logo, and then I'm just going to put it right down on my plastic. And you see how easy it's coming up. It's a piece of cake, but when it's down, it's down. Now I can take my thumb hold and I can pull the top sheet off. And that is where I see all the grid and the Sizzix logo. You want the top sheet to be up. You want that grid to be up. Why? Well, you do have a gridded side and a non-gridded side on your mat. Now, if I had lined this up, mine's a little bit off, but if I had lined this up, chances are my grids from my lid would have also corresponded to those. But having the grid on both is a nice feature if you are trying to line something up, whether it be letters or numbers or a pattern that you want to repeat. Super important. So now I've got my sticky grid down, and you can see it's not pulling up, it's holding right down to my plastic. And this is going to stay on my tool until it is no longer sticky. So you may want to take one of these top pieces, and when you're done using your tool, you may just want to cover it back up. And then you'd put your lid right back on. And then you'd close it up. And it just protects that sticky grid, giving you a longer lifespan of the sticky grid. Will you eventually have to replace it? Yes, just like cutting pads for basically anybody's machine, including a Sizzix Big Shot or a Switch machine, at some point you do have to replace it. And yes, they sell sticky grid in A4 sizing. You get 5 sheets. Don't know how much it is. I just know that we've got it, and you get 5 sheets. So at some point, so you see now it's pulling up. It wants to pull up. But while I had my lid on, the lid kept it down. And that keeps dust and lint and dirt off of it. Do you have to keep the liner? No, you don't. If you choose not to and you just want to close it up, that's fine too. It really is up to you whether that liner becomes an important thing or not. I leave that up to you. Everybody has a different way of doing it. Some people aren't going to want to remember to save this, or you're just going to throw it away. And if you do throw it away, that's okay. If next time you remember to save it, you can use it then. I don't want you to feel that it is going to change the performance of the tool, whether you have that liner on top of it when you're done using it or not, because it really doesn't. Sticky grid is going to stay sticky for so long, and it stays sticky for quite some time. And then you will need to replace it. So off with the lid. Now the tool here that I talked about, the alignment tool, this is a very, very special tool. And as I mentioned, the storage is right here where those 2 little nibs are. But the alignment tool, can you see these rectangular holes? They fit specifically into the lid so that you can move this alignment tool practically anywhere you want to move it to. You can move it down, depending on the size of the project you're using or the stencil that you're using. You can move it all the way over to one side. You can move it all the way over to another side. You have opportunity with this to move it anywhere that makes your heart happy. And this is to be used every time you're using a stencil. Can you get away with stenciling without it sometimes? Yes, you can. Should you? I don't know. The whole beautiful part of this tool comes in this little mint piece of plastic. This is what makes this tool different than anybody else's, and very, very special. But if you don't use this tool to the best of its ability, you're not getting everything out of your stencil and stamp tool. So I'm going to bring over some Sizzix stencils. I have 2 of them. These are the newest releases from Sizzix. We have both of them. Brand new. We might even have them early. I'm not sure. I don't know anymore. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open these up. These are 6x6 layering stencils. There's 4 layers to them. I've got 1 layer, 2, 3, and 4. They are labeled with the Sizzix name. They've got the item number, the SKU number, and a number of the stencil. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think what I like most about the way they have done theirs is that not only did they give you the order of the stencil, they've given you the SKU number of the stencil. So if you've got several of their stencils out and you want to be sure to put them back in the correct storage pouch that you have for them, you've got lots of them out, you can just look and see, oh, I need to match up all my 666528s. Here's stencil number 2, number 3, number 4, and here's stencil number 1. And now I'm ready to store them again. I think that's really important, so that having that number so that you can keep track of your stencils. Not only the order you want to stencil them in, but the fact that they all belong to the same set. Now, they all have 2 little holes at the top of them. Do you see those 2 little holes? And those little holes are used to do the alignment so that everything lines up beautifully. When I first got this tool, it was brought to me to play with, and I sat down with it and I was like, this is a lot. This is hard. This is not working well. I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's not going well for me. I saw these 2 little holes in the stencil and immediately thought those 2 little holes were meant to hold the stencil here. That's what I thought. And I was trying to stencil using these 2 little nibs to hold my stencil in place. And it wasn't working. The stencil was popping off. It was loose. It was wiggly. And I'm thinking to myself, no, this is not right. Something's not right. And me being me, and I'm a girl who gets fixated on something. If I need to figure it out before I can move on. So Sizzix called and asked, well, what do you think of it? I said, nope, not for us. Thank you very much. Pass. Literally, pass. Thank you. Next. Bye, Felicia. Okay, that's enough. And I know that they were very disappointed that that was my response. I just knew, in my gut, I'm like, this cannot be how these stencils are meant to be used. I just don't believe that they expect me to put them on those 2 little nibs at the top. So I festered about it. It just would not leave me till I finally pulled the tool out again and started working with it until I understood. Now, could I have called Sizzix and said, can you please explain to me why I'm struggling with this? I could have, but I didn't. I needed to work through it myself because I'm a crafter and because I think I should be able to do this. As I mentioned before, those 2 little nibs at the top are only meant to store your alignment tool. That's the only thing that those things are meant for. Intuitively, you look at them and you see, oh, two little nibs at the top. Oh, look at, there they are. Oh, two little holes in my stencil. Oh, that makes sense. But it doesn't. And there's a reason why. So when I looked at the tool again and got it out and said, okay, let's try again, I looked at the nibs that are on the tool, and I looked at the nibs that were on this green minty little piece of plastic. And I said, you know, they're not the same. These little nibs are not as high. They're not as round as what is on my little green piece of plastic. Not only that, but these nibs, they get a little narrower as they get to the top. So they actually spread when you're going to the bottom. They're round, the diameter is bigger here than it is at the top. But that's not true for these. And I said, you know, there had to have been a reason for that. Let's play again. So this time I went ahead and I grabbed my alignment tool and I put it on. There it is. And I grabbed my Sizzix stencil, and I've got stencil number 1, no paper yet. But I put it right on my little alignment tool. And you know what happened? I had to push them in place. Pop, pop. I had to push it in place. I bet that will hold it much better if I have to push it in place versus here where it's very loosey-goosey. You don't have to push it in place. And once your paper's there, it's gonna wiggle. So let's grab a piece of paper. And I could use an entire sheet of A4 paper. This is Sizzix white smooth cardstock. Did I even know they made white smooth cardstock? I had no clue. Now, pay no attention to my inky fingers that were on here, but you get 60 sheets of white cardstock. I had no idea. Does it tell me what weight it is? Sizzix, Opaque, Blanca, ideal for 80 pound. Thank you very much. So nice smooth cardstock. And you will see that it is the same size as the sticky grid. So the sticky grid isn't meant to hold your stencil in place. The sticky grid is meant to hold your paper in place. That's a super big distinction. Sticky grid is meant to hold paper, not meant to hold the stencil. What's meant to hold the stencil, well, is it this little green tool? Kinda, sort of. But this little green tool, I look at it as an alignment tool. Clip it down in place. Will I still need to put my hands on it and maybe hold it up here when I'm stenciling? Perhaps. It's not meant to be sure that it doesn't move anywhere. It's meant to align a stencil up again and again and again. And that's an easy thing to do. I'm hoping you guys can see all of this. Once we start, now maybe I'm too. Okay, so I've put my paper down, and I could go with a smaller sheet of paper. I could cut this if I want. It's up to me. I can pull it right back up because this is a tacky surface and not an adhesive. I could cut my paper down. I could put my alignment tool on. Kind of line my paper right on up to it. And then put my first stencil on. And you will hear it kind of click into place. And now I'm ready to start. I'm going to do a Sizzix stencil first, and then we're going to move into everybody else's stencils. So you can see that it's not just about the Sizzix stencil, it is about what all you can do with this tool using what you already have in your crafty stash. That's really important. I think one of the misconceptions of this tool is that if you don't have a stencil that has holes in it, you can't use this tool. And when I first started with this tool, I thought that these were the nibs you were supposed to use, and I didn't like it at all because it moved. So now that I understand it better, and I had to work with it before there was an aha moment. So let's line up and let's do stencil number 1. Now today I'm using ColorPad pigment-based inks. I have got the next 7 colors of our pigment-based inks from ColorPad. So cranberry and sunflower, these have not been released before. Cyan and orange and fresh green. And they're so new, it doesn't even have a lid for it yet. This one's magenta, and then midnight. So these are new for this YouTube. We have not launched these colors before. These are a pigment-based ink. So when you think of them, I think the most common thing would be an oxide ink. Oxide inks are a pigment-based ink, as are these, and these are going to blend beautifully. So I'm gonna grab my little picture, and I see that stencil number 1 is the stems. So I'm going to grab my green, and I'm not using a blending tool. I'm not using a brush tool with this because I am using a pigment-based ink. I'm using a foam blending applicator. If you're using a blending brush, then the pigment can get a little goopy in your brush, and you may want to stay away from that. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to add some color. I can go a little darker in a few places if I want. I can keep it a little lighter in a few places. It really is up to me how I want it to look. Okay, done. Now I take my stencil up and I can see, oh, yeah, look at that. Great, easy peasy. Now I come over with stencil number 2. And stencil number 2 are strawberries. Now I don't need to move anything. My paper is being held in by my sticky grid. My alignment tool is held in by this unique closure, this unique hinge that they've put in there. So all I have to do is take stencil number 2 and click it into place. And because of the alignment tool, this little green minty piece of perfect plastic, it really is ingenious. I'm slightly jealous I didn't come up with it. Now I can come in and add my next color. So I've got strawberries going on. I can have some of them very dark. I can have some of them very light. Totally up to me how I want to apply my color. And because this is a very blendable ink, you don't end up with any little edges from your blending tool. And just go in there and add some color. Now here's the ingenious part. I can either pull this up to take a look at it and say, am I happy with that? Or I can pull this up and say, am I happy with that? Because this is attached to my alignment tool, all I have to do is come back and put it exactly where it was, and everything lines right back up again. I put it right back in. I knew I had it all the way on the first row. Now, if I moved it down to the fourth row, obviously it's not going to align up. But if I move it all the way back up to the first row, I'm back to where I was. So you can either take the stencil off and say, does that look good to me, or do I want to add more color? And then put the stencil back on and it's going to line up perfectly. Or you can just take the whole thing off and say, does that look good to me, or do I want more color? And then put the whole thing back. And if you want more color, you go in and you add more color. You choose. But you have the option to look and see before you have to move on. It's not realigning anything. It's not retaping anything down. Your paper is being held in by the sticky grid, and your stencil is being aligned by this little piece of plastic. Am I putting my hand down? Yes. Yes, I'm not asking this little piece of plastic to hold my stencil in place everywhere so that it doesn't, maybe pop on the side or I grab a little bit of it. Yes, intuitively, your hand is always going to go here, and just let it. And then I can say, done. Now I can bring in stencil number 3 and line it up. All I have to do is pop it right down, and it's an instant lineup. Let's grab another color. We'll just wash, rinse, and repeat what they did. Bam. Now, did I get everything? I don't know. Sure looks like I did. And back down. Do I want to look at it again? Okay, there it is again. Do I want to line it back up again? There it is again. And it will just instantly line up for you without having to give too much thought. Well, any thought for that matter. All you have to do is remember what row you started in. And like I said, if you put it on a different row, you're immediately going to know, this isn't going to work. I need to back it up. That's not going to work. I need to back it up. Oh, there it is. You only have 4 options. That's it. If you do it here and it's off center, you just have to back it up until you get to the place where you started. If you take it off to the side, all you have to do is move it over until you get to the place where you started. They've made it user-friendly if you know where to start. I didn't know where to start. I thought the start button was up here and putting my stencil up here. But that is not the start place. That's not the start button. That isn't where we make magic happen. We make magic happen when we use the tools that were given to us and we use them properly. So now all I've got is my last. And I can go here, pop in and pop in. And let's grab some orange. And I can go here and here and there and put my little centers in. Gosh, and then it would be nice to have some black ink. I don't have any black ink with me right now, so I'm just going to use a dark blue for my little seeds. Who says sunflowers can't have dark blue seeds? Right? Got a little bit right there, so I'm going to blend that right on out. And then here. So now I can pull it up and see, oh, I got very little of my seeds. I need to go down harder if I really want them to come through. And that's up to me. Do I really want to press down and get it in there really good? Well, now they almost look black. And I'm done. The only thing I have left to do is to put a sentiment, trim it out, and add it to my card base or my layout. It's that simple to use their stencils. Their stencils are made with the holes that correspond with the alignment tool. Corresponds with the alignment tool. If your first thought is to add them to the top and start stenciling from there, I want you to stop. That is not what that is intended to be. That is intended to just hold this very important little tool in place so you don't lose it when you're done. Now, this is a pigment-based ink, so it cleans up pretty darn easy. Let's grab a piece of paper. So pigment-based ink cleans up pretty darn easy. Wet wipe. And I can take it off. So that one's now clean. That one's pretty good. And there we go. So when you're using Sizzix stencils, their stencils will always have the hole in the top, the two holes, because it's meant to be used with their stencil and stamp platform. Does it mean you have to have this tool to make it work? No, you do not. I've done another video where I did not use this tool at all, and I made the stencils work with the holes in them, absolutely. And that was when I was trying to put them through here and having no success and couldn't understand what I was doing wrong. I knew something was wrong, I just didn't know what it was until I really sat down and gave it some thought. I suppose if I read the directions it would tell me, but that was, that'd have been too easy. So, one stencil done. Now let's move on. Let's use my stencils. Pull up my paper. Now I can mat it, cut it out, whatever makes my heart happy. Maybe I don't want a 6x6 stencil. Maybe I cut it down and I use this as an A2 stencil. I've got an A2 stencil, and I would mat this and have half the circle coming off my card. So I'm going to save this because we might use it a little bit later. Now I want to use one of my stencils, my Simply Defined stencils. And in December, I had my last release. So I'm going to pull over one of my stencils. These were the two I released in December, and mine are layering stencils. And I put little tabs on mine so that you could tape it down to a piece of paper. That way you had room to tape. When you use my stencils, you would take it, let's get a bigger sheet of paper, that's not gonna do. When I did my stencils, I did it so that you could tape down the different tabs so you had room to tape, and also to leave 2 tabs available so you could use them as an alignment tool. I would put ink over these, so every time I aligned the next layer, all I had to do was match it in my little area there. This is different. This is different. They don't have holes in them, and I could put holes in them if I wanted to, if I were able to measure it out just right and put some holes in it. The problem with that is, again, these holes are thicker at the bottom and thinner at the top, making you push that stencil into place. If I just pop holes into these with a hole punch, maybe a 1/4 inch hole punch, they're not going to fit properly and not give you the same results. So Sizzix came up with a little adapters to make that easier for you. They are sold 10 to a pack, and they are meant to be used with other people's stencils through their stencil and stamp tool. This is what they look like. And they have the little holes in them. They have a little piece of an adhesive strip up here that you are going to attach to your stencil. So for me, the easiest way to do this is I have A, B, C. That tells me the order of my stencils. And because these are going to attach to it, if I were to line it right up, it would cover part of my stencil. See, I didn't leave enough room for somebody to attach little adapters, at least not in that orientation. When you're looking at your stencils, you need to look at them saying, okay, I want to be able to use my stencil and stamp tool because I want perfect alignment and I don't want to think about it, but where am I going to attach those adapters? This is the way the stencil orientates. So you've got a heart right there. This is the right way, but is this the way you have to attach your adapters? Absolutely not. I've left plenty of room on the sides. So that's where I'm going to attach my adapters. And you can put your adapters there and then leave them there. You don't have to take them off. You can put them on once and call it done. So if I've got my paper and I've got my alignment tool here, and I've got my first stencil. This is, let's find A. Here is my A. I'm going to peel the liner right off my little sticky. I'm going to put my adapter right onto my alignment tool, and you can hear it click down. And then I'm going to put line my little stencil right up to it and push down. Now before I take this off, I'm going to do it to stencil number B. And I want to make sure that my B is going in the same direction as my A, which I didn't look at. Yeah, A, good. So I'm going to leave my first stencil right there, and I'm just going to grab another adapter. And I'm going to push it down. Maybe I take the top one off. Leave one side open so I can get it in there. And I'm just going to line it on up. Line it on up so my tabs match. And then push it in place. Now I only have to do this once because once my adapters are on, I don't have to do it again. I leave my adapters where they are. My third stencil. Again, make sure my orientation is right. Yep, that's good. I'm going to line it on up. And then put my little tab right down. And give a press. So now I've lined up all three stencils. So it doesn't matter if they're if all three are slightly crooked, doesn't matter. They're all going to be matching because you've aligned them with the adapter all at the same time. So if they're not all perfectly straight, the three of them might have a tilt to it. As long as all three of them have that same little tilt to it, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. Now I can take these off. And anytime I want to use these three stencils, they're aligned. They're ready to go. So I've got my number 1, or my A. My paper is down. It's being held by my sticky grid. My alignment tool is right here. My A stencil is here. And while you might think that you would have to use the adapters at the top because that's the orientation of the stencil, you do not. You can put those adapters on any of the sides as long as you put it on all three of the exact same side, or all four. I could have done them down at the bottom, there's room. I could have done them over on this side, there's room. So now let's go in, and what do I want to use? Let's use some yellow. Yellow. Now I can pull it up. Does that look good to me? I think so. I can put it back down, realign it if I missed a spot, come back in, add more color. I'm done. Yellow is complete. Take it off. Leave that adapter on. That adapter is going to forever be on there. That way it's always lined up. Once you've got those adapters on, you leave them there and it's always lined up. Now I'm going to bring number 2, or B, and put it down. And this time I'm going to use maybe a little bit, let's just use a little bit of orange again. And I can add my color. My tabs are no longer an issue. I no longer have to tape anything down, nor do I have to worry about whether everything is lining up. This is it, it's done. Now it's me adding my ink. And to what saturation I want. I can pull it up and say, am I happy with that? I think I am. Put it back down, cover my ink, and bring over my last stencil. Pop this one right off. Leave my adapter in place. And bring over my last stencil. Line it up. All I have to do is pop it in place. That's the amount of the lining up. That's it. And I know that this is in green. So let's add some green. Now I can pull it up and I can say, oh, look at, I missed right over here. I missed a good chunk of that right over there. Because it's already lined up, all I have to do is put it right back on my tool, put it right back down, and keep going. There's no guesswork. The guesswork was learning that you don't use the two top nibs here. If I had known that from the beginning, look at that. Everything lined right back up. And it's done. So I can come back, let's grab another piece of paper. Put my positioner down. Now I could move my positioner all the way down here if I want. See, originally I had it all the way at the top, but maybe I'm doing a layout and I want that heart someplace on my layout. I can move that positioner all the way down. As long as I've got room for my stencil, I can move that positioner anywhere I want. Maybe I want it all the way off to the side over here. Again, maybe I'm doing a layout. I can move my paper off to the side. As long as my stencil is on my paper, I'm good to go. I have options. It's up to me. I can move it back up one. Now I'm more centered. They're already down. I don't have to think about it. I'm just using the ink that was already on here. One. Two. Do I like it that way? Do I like it that? It's kind of subtle. Do I want to add more color to it? Okay. All I have to do is remember where I lined it up. Nope, that's not it. Oh, there it is. See, I had it up here. Nope, that's not it. I know that right away. I only have 4 options. Move it down and let's grab some more orange. And I'm not like pressing hard down to hold it in place. I'm just adding a little bit of pressure because this is an alignment tool, not a I'm going to hold you in place perfectly every time tool. I'm going to align you perfectly in every place. That's perfect. I'm going to align you each time, but just a little bit of pressure. Okay, done. Leave my tab right on and bring over number 3. Push it down, it lines up perfectly. See, I wiggled it. I just need to hold it. I think one of the misconceptions about this tool is that this piece is going to hold everything perfectly without having it won't shimmy, but it could like bend a little bit as you're putting your ink down, depending on how much pressure you're adding, how forceful you're being, whether you're using a blending tool or a blending brush. But what it will do is line you up perfectly every single time. It's perfect. And then you just leave your little positioners on your stencils. Can you take them off if you want? Of course you can. They're just stuck to it. Absolutely, you can peel them off. But then every time you do, the next time you use them, you'll just have to go through that little step where I lined everything up. Let me pull out. You'll have to go through the little step. Here's my second stencil that I did for December. Again, 3 stencils. The orientation is vertically, but there's not a good place to add that little alignment. There's a perfect place down here, not even centered, but off to the side. What if we did that? So let's put our alignment tool back in place and lid. Thank you very much. And let's find plenty of room right there. So I'm not even going to align them centered. I think I'm going to align them more down here. So I'm going to grab my little alignment adapter. I'm going to pull A over here. I'm going to push this down. I think I'll put a piece of paper underneath just so my stencils don't stick to my sticky grid, making them harder to pull up. There we go. And I'm going to align my stencil. Well, maybe that is kind of centered. Oh. All right, let's tweak it. So I want to show you that I severely tweaked it. Can you see? I didn't put this on straight. Now I could take it off and try again, but if I put this back on and I go grab stencil number 2 and I line up those tabs, stencil number 2 is now also going to be slightly off. You're like, oh, but I don't want them to be slightly off. But it's okay if they are. pop it down. Pop it down, put it in place. And now you can't see where stencil number 1 and stencil number 2. You can't even see that stencil number 2 is on top of stencil number 1. They're lined up. Now stencil number 3. Grab another adapter. And I'm going to line up stencil number 3 again. And I'm going to keep it at that same funky little tilt. All right, so they're not perfect. That looks pretty good. Press down. That looks pretty good. Press down. And now all 3 of my stencils are at a slight angle because I wasn't perfect, because we're not perfect. But does that mean that they're not going to work? So let's pull off stencil number 1, or actually 3, and number 2. And now let's do stencil number 1. Once you have those little pieces on, those little adapters, it's going to let you take anybody's layering stencils. Anybody's layering stencils. And you'll be able to use them. So there's layer number 1. Pop it up. Layer number 2. Put it in place. Can you see? It's lining right up. And let's go maybe cyan. Done. Pull it up. And layer number 3. Look at how wonky that is. Can you see how off it is? It's not centered at all. It's not straight. This is crooked, but it's the same crooked on all of them because I aligned them all up while on the platform. So whose stencils do you own? Do they layer? What an easy way to get the job done. And then I can leave. See how they're all wonky at the bottom? They're not straight, but when I put them together, it doesn't matter because I lined them up together. So even though my positioner, my adapter isn't straight, my stencils still are because I lined them all up while on my platform. Done. It is that simple to use their stencil and stamp tool with other people's stencils. All right, let's move on. So now I have got some Crafter's Companion stencils. So I did Crafter's Companion. I did 4 of their stencils, and we did them at a value price because I wanted you to be able to have some stencils to start with in case you do decide to get this tool. So I think we did the 4, there's 4 of them, for I think $9.99, and I want to say they're closer to a $25 retail or a $30 retail. So 2 smaller ones, and then 2 6x6, and these are the butterfly and the hearts, and then 2 8x8s that are the balloons and the dots. So this bundle here, I want to say, is $9.99 for all of it. So 6 stencils, $10. Because if you get the positioner, I wanted you to have the opportunity to get some stencils too to play. Now I've got this one, which is a script, and it's one of those for $10. It's a smaller stencil. I am going to want to do my adapter. Now, could you take a piece of paper and cut the paper down smaller than the stencil and not use your alignment tool? You can. Do I recommend it? I don't. They did that alignment tool for a reason. So if I have a smaller piece of paper and my stencil is a little bit bigger, now the sticky grid is holding down my stencil and my paper. It is, and I could get it done without question. I'm just going to use my blue. Okay, so I did it. Now if I look at it and I say, oh, I didn't get all the stencil down. Realigning this is going to be a challenge. Putting it back together again and aligning it back up is going to be a challenge. There we go. It's going to be harder to put this back down and line this back up if you missed some spaces. However, if you take your little thin adapter and we expose the sticky, pull off the little liner, and I put a piece of paper down. Is this paper big enough? No, not big enough. I put a piece of paper down, put my stencil on top of it, put my little adapter, you can hear it snap, give a press. Now I know it's down. And let's do that again. And this time I pull up my whole adapter and I say, Oh, I didn't get enough. It's not enough. Now all I have to do is put it right back down again. Make sure I'm in the right position, and I am, and continue. It's not often you get a chance to look. To see, am I happy with it? Do I need more? And it lines up perfectly every time. Now the orientation is this way, and that's how I'll use it. But I'm stenciling it in this orientation, and I can keep going until I have every area done. And I don't have to question or worry about how am I going to line this back up. It's done for you. Again, if you use this. If we go back and we just use the sticky grid and we didn't get everything done, well, it's very hard to reposition. Here, you can take it on and off and on and off and on and off to see how many times until you've got it the way you want it. And then I'm done. Let's take another piece of paper. And I think I'm going to clean this real quick. So I'm going to clean the stencil real quick. Okay, looks pretty clean to me. Good enough. Make sure it's dry, and let's do it again. Now I got a little ink on my sticky grid, and that's going to happen. It's going to get inky. Does it hurt anything? No, absolutely not. But it is. It's going to get inky. Okay, I think I'm good there, but let's make it inky. Let's use my smaller one. Grab this one here. Put that right underneath. And let's take some of my cranberry maybe. So my paper is now smaller than my stencil. See, want to kind of hold it. And now let's add some blue. Kind of looks like a hot mess. And now I can pull it up and see, did I get enough ink? Have I pushed in hard enough to get it done? Now it's up to me. If I say no, I want to come back and do more. Put it back down. Nope, that was not the space. That's the space. And I can come back in and add more color. Lift up and I've added more color. It's that easy to use these, but you can see now I've gone outside of my stencil and I've got some on my sticky grid. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Eventually you replace this. Now this is going to last for a good long while, but you will have to replace it. But now I've got my colors. And I was able to align up again and again and again and again and again. Put my paper way down here. Maybe that's where I'm more comfortable. Pull it up. So I'm on 3. 1, 2, 3. Pull it up. Do I want more? Yeah, I think I do. Put it back down. There really hasn't been an easier way to align stencils. Pull it back up. Am I good? Ooh, I think that looks really good. Cut off the bottom, and I'm done. Leave my little adapter on forever, and it's good to go. Let's see, what do I have on this one? All right, how about black? Yeah, we'll do some on black. So I've got the 2 stencils. I've got the hearts made of hearts and the butterfly. I'm going to work with the hearts made of hearts. And let's cover up my inks. So midnight. And we'll get a new one for my red. And I've got plenty of room for my adapter at the top. And I'm using this in a horizontal fashion. If you've got enough space, you may prefer it on the vertical. It doesn't matter to me as long as I know my stencil is getting done. So I've got it in. Grab one of my little adapters. Off. Put my paper down, and I just butt my paper right up against the bottom of that the alignment tool. Put my little adapter, click it into place here. Move my little stencil up. Let's get it in place and click down and then rub. And now even if my stencil's slightly crooked, see it's not straight on my paper, who cares as long as it's on my paper? I'm going to trim it out anyway, and I can take it on and off my adapter. Easy peasy. Now let's do some black paper. So I'm going to pull this sheet up and I'm going to save this for a little bit later. And let's grab a sheet of black paper. Butt it on up. Make sure my stencil is on my black paper, which it is. Click them down into place. Give a little press. And now I can choose to use my color pad metallics, which are not new. We've had the metallics out before, but I thought you would want to see maybe what they look like. So I've got my gold here, and this is a pigment-based ink, so kind of think of it like an oxide ink. And some gold maybe. And then maybe some silver. And then maybe even some copper or bronze or rose gold. Oh, let's try the bronze. So everything is staying in place. My paper I don't have to hold down. My paper's being held by the sticky grid. And then I can just pull this right off the top and say, ooh, am I happy with that? Or do I want more? I think I want more color right in here. Am I happy with that, or do I want more? I think I want more color right there. Which one was I on? Was I on number 3? Oh no, I definitely was not on number 3. Was I on number 2? Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I was. And I want more color right in that center. So let's add some more color. And just like that, I don't know any easier way to realign a stencil than this. Pull it up. And it's done. These little adapter pieces are pivotal to using the tool with your stencils from other manufacturers. This isn't just a Sizzix tool. This is Sizzix making a tool that you can use with everybody. This is an all-inclusive tool. This is a, hey, everybody come play in my sandbox tool. I want to show you how amazing it is to stencil, and you can use everything you already have. You don't have to pop holes into it. You don't have to, put specialty anything except for these little plastic adapters. People, when they saw this, I think the original thought was, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put holes in every one of my stencils to be able to use this. No, you don't have to put holes in any of your stencils to be able to use this. One little adapter and you're off to the races. Looks beautiful on black, right? So we have done, we've done a Sizzix stencil that already has the holes built right into it. We did a Simply Defined stencil where we had to add the adapters, and it was in a weird place that we had to add the adapters, but yet it still worked. We did a Simply Defined stencil where our adapter was slightly tweaked and not straight, but it was tweaked on all 3 of the stencils because we aligned them while we were on the platform. We did our little script where you get to go back and see what you've done and add more if you need. We've done our heart in black where you're able to lift up, add more ink, put it back down. So far, we've only used one Sizzix stencil. So let's move on. I need another pack. And yes, you can pull them off and reuse them on other stencils. And maybe on single stencils, that's an idea. Maybe you don't need to keep this on there the whole time. Maybe you can peel it off and use it for another stencil because you're not worrying about lining 3 stencils up. Absolutely, but if you have layering stencils, I would put them on the layers and leave them be and never touch them again. For stencils that have a layering element, because now if I don't take these off, I know every time I use them, they're already perfectly aligned. I don't have to do anything else. But maybe on a single stencil, maybe you can pop that bad boy off and use it again. Really up to you. But I do think the initial misconception was that you were going to have to put holes in all of your stencils to make this work. And you don't. So let's pull a bigger stencil. Let's use the bubbles. So now we're going to a larger format, a much larger format. We've done 6 by 6 so far. Goodness gracious, Crafter's Companion, you make your stuff so. Can I get into it? That's harder than me doing the sticky grid. Can I just cut it? Yes. Whew. That was very stressful. So these now have 8 by 8. These are an 8 by 8 size. And you can see right away how nicely 8 by 8 is going to fit on your platform. Easy peasy, not a problem at all. Let's do the bubbles. And grab a piece of paper. I've got my little adapter that I pulled off my other one. Let's use a whole sheet. About a whole sheet of white. And again, this is Sizzix smooth white cardstock. Do I want to leave it there? Do I want to take it under? I think I'll just leave it there. Now I have to decide where to put it. And this stencil does not have a really great area anywhere. So they didn't give you a lot of room to tape down for sure. So I think I'm going to pick right here. And put it down. Pop it in. Pop it in. I'm going to lose a little bit of my element right here, but I've got a big 8 by 8 size, so I think I'm going to be okay. All right, so now what do we want to do? What color? This was a pretty color, right? So what if I start this super light, really light, even lighter than that. Look at how light I'm doing. Super light little bubbles. Ooh, almost too light. Nope, not there. Yep, there. See, I was able to say, oh yeah, those are almost too light. Is that better? Oh, I think that's better. I'm going to leave it that light. So what did I do? I turned it over and lined it up. I'm going to need to keep my hand there. I turned it over and lined it up. Now what if I went a little bit darker, or maybe a different color? Maybe the green. So now I'm doing the back side of a stencil. And I'm doing a large format stencil. Now, is this the way Sizzix is going to want me to use this? Probably not. Oh. But is that very cool? Yes. Yes, it is. Is it the way Sizzix is going to want me to use it? I don't know about that. But is it a cool way to use it? Maybe you don't have a layering stencil, but you want it to look like you do. Bam! And then what if I moved this and just rotated it to the side? So now I'm going to line it on up again. Pop down, pop down. And I could add a third color on top of that. Oh, are you going to stick? Or do I have too much ink? You know, let's just wipe that little bit of ink right off and go zoop. And down. And down. And then a nice press. Oh yeah, there we go. And now let's go a little bit darker. Don't have a layering stencil? With this platform, you can make a layering stencil. Three different colors. My stencil in 3 different orientations. I can lift it up and say, do I like that? Do I want more color to it? Oh, I think I like it. Nope, I wasn't there. I was there. I think I'm going to do a little more color. Kind of right in the center. Lift it up. And I made a layering stencil. And it all works beautifully together. All I did was, I could have just rotated it on 3 different sides and kept rotating it to make it layer. I flipped it back and forth. It's really up to you. If you have this little thingamajig, you can do it all. And it lines up every time. It's amazing. Okay, to me, that looks yummy. And I can make it any size I want. Do I want to do 2 slimline cards? Hello, 2 slimline cards. Backgrounds made. Slimline background done out of 1 stencil. Oh, that's a bad cut. Wow, that was really bad. Done. And look at the layering element. Hard to do if you want to be able to lift it up and see what you have underneath. If that's an important feature to you, to be able to lift up and then put it right back down again, this is the way to get it done. Okay, let's move on. Trash, trash, trash. Stencil, stencil, stencil. How about a large format on black? These are my notes to remind me what I'm supposed to do with them. I have so many different stencils here. So this is a Stamperia stencil. And yes, we have Stamperia stencils on sale today too. I think at 50% off. So I tried to get all the stencils I could as affordable as possible. So if you wanted the tool, you could have some real good fun playing. Now the Stamperia stencil, they have a couple different kinds. This one is almost like paper, but it isn't. It is a plastic and it is hardy, but it's not rigid, kind of like we're used to. My stencils, the Sizzix stencils, definitely a thicker mylar. The reason why Stamperia has some of the stencils the way they do is because if you want to wrap this around something, a picture frame, a vase, what do you want to, lampshade, what do you want to wrap this around? This stencil gives you that opportunity. Look at how flexible it is. So I'm going to do this one in black. And I'm going to grab my black paper and put it down. I'm going to grab my, this is my one that I was just using. I used it on the last 2. I moved it around. Let's go ahead and so they give me a little bit of room here so that I can click here and click here and give a good press. Stamperia gave you a little bit of room all the way around. But I'm using the same adapter, thank you, took me a moment, that I used on my bubbles. And I moved it twice on my bubbles. So on a single stencil, do you necessarily need to have it on there forever? I don't know that you do. On a layering stencil, I absolutely would keep it there. It just keeps it aligned up for you permanently. Now let's see, let's play with the silver. Let's just get some all over. Now, most of your metallic inks are going to be a pigment-based ink. You could put clear embossing powder over the top of these and it'll hold the embossing powder because a pigment-based ink is going to stay wet longer than a dye-based ink. As I said, the closest thing for people to really understand about pigment inks is if you think of more of an oxide type ink. They're very, 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 very similar. They're very blendable, but they do stay wet longer. I will tell you, my girls, however, have loved these inks. They played with the 7 colors that I have for you today, the new 7 colors. And all I heard was oohs and ahs from them because they blend so well. So there's some silver. I don't know what rose gold. Let's see what we got with rose gold. Ooh, that's very pretty. And I'm just putting it here, there, anywhere. No rhyme, no reason. And then how about some, I don't know if champagne's going to be too close to, or some champagne maybe. I don't know if it's going to be too close to. Oh, it's much brighter. But I'm not sure. How about some tried and true gold? Now I have the opportunity to pick this up and see where I'm at. So this is what it looks like. But I have the opportunity to pick this up and see where I'm at. Do I want more color? Do I need more color? Are there some areas maybe it's a little lighter than I'd like? Okay. All I have to do, it's that simple. I just put it right back down. I think I'm going to come back in with some more rose gold. Well, that was a shift on me. And just a touch of my silver. So I probably have way more ink than I need. But I'm okay with that. Pull it up. And it lined right back up perfectly. How nice is that? Wait, you want to change something? Okay. Maybe you're looking at it and you're like, I'm not sure I like maybe I want it all to be silver. Come back in. Start going over the top of everything. And really adding silver back in. Didn't tape anything down. And again, it lined right back up on top of each other. In a large format stencil. This is a large format stencil. This is pretty much an A4 size stencil. It's as big as the platform. If you want to be able to do larger things, you need a larger platform. Hello? Beautiful. And you're like, but what would I ever do with that? Well, I suppose now you've got 4 mats ready to go for your cards. Now you've got 4 mats ready to go. Cards, layouts, mat your pictures on it. 1 stencil, all the options. Being able to pick it back up again is what makes this little minty green piece of plastic absolutely magic. It's Sizzix magic. It took somebody some serious thought to think of this, but I don't know that it translated well for me, I thought this was only used when you need somebody, you want to use somebody else's stencils, but I didn't even then understand that there were these little adapter things. I had no clue. I wasn't sure what this piece was for, and I kept trying to put my Sizzix stencils on my little nibs up here, which are not strong enough, tall enough, wide enough to hold the stencils in place. I had to learn. Now, what if we wanted to do an all over pattern? So I'm taking a piece of Sizzix A4 white cardstock, and I've got a tiny stencil from Crafters, and this is part of that $9.99 bundle. $9.99 bundle. And I'm gonna need to go ahead and make it usable for my sheet of paper. So I'm gonna have to add one of my adapters, and I'm gonna get a new one. Or not. All right, I'll just keep using this one. How about I wipe it down just a little, get some of that blue off of it. Don't want to wipe the sticky because I want that to stay sticky. Got my blue fingerprints everywhere. So here's my stencil, my paper. My paper is being held down by my sticky grid. My adapter goes on. And I'm going to start in the middle. So I've got 2 spaces here, 2 spaces here, and I'm using the 4 there. I'm going to start there, and let's grab a pretty color. I don't think we've used our magenta yet. And I'm going to go, oh, Stacy, oh, it didn't stick. Maybe I got it wet. Or maybe I didn't press down. All right, let's try it again. Pull it up. Paper's got two sides. Let's put it back down. And let's see if I do better this time. Maybe it was too wet. Down, click. Okay, maybe I just was too fast. Feels like it's down. Yep, okay. So I'm gonna wanna try and stay away from the edges of my stencil because I wanna do an all over stencil, but I've only got this little, I don't know, 4x4. So how am I gonna achieve that if this is the only size I've got? That's where having all of this comes into play. Okay. I think I'm good. Now I've centered it here, so I've got 2 extra up here and 2 extra down here. Now if I want to move my stencil, I just move it over. And I'm looking for a space where I see almost all white. Look at, I see almost all white in this space. So I know I'm not going over a bunch of my stenciling that I just did. And I come in, and I need to stay away from my edges. I'm not so good about that. I need to stay away from my edges. See, I didn't do such a good job. See, I got on my edge right there, and you're gonna be able to see it. But okay. All right, now I lift up. See, I got it in 2 places, but that's okay. Now I bring it to my 2 over here. My last 2. And I'm making an all over pattern. Now I can take it and go back to my center. And I was here. See how it fits in all nice and pretty right there? Now I could take it down 1. And I've got plenty of white, but I think that's gonna be too busy. I wanna take it down a little bit further. 3. I still can see that I've got some here, and I want that pattern to be consistent. So I'm going to take it all the way down to number 4. And really, it's up to you if that works for you or if you want to have more splatter going on. But if I start here in number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to try not to go outside the lines. I'm going to take this little tiny stencil and I'm going to make it way more than what it is. And I'm not going to have to worry about trying to reline everything back up. So I've got the first one done. And then remember, I went over more than that, more than that. I think I did my last 2. So not all stencils are continuous stencils. That doesn't mean you can't make it a continuous stencil. But having the tool is far easier than trying to do this by sight. Because now all I need to do, I'm over these two, all I need to do is move it back and do these two, and it's already lined up. So I took a little stencil that's in our $9.99 bundle and I made it more than what it was. Little stencil. Started in the middle, all the way up. Moved it over to my last two. Was it my last two? My last three? Thought it was my last two. Oh no, it was three on that one. Well, see, I thought I took it to my last two. Turns out I didn't. Turns out I left it to my last three. Now I could keep going if I want to fill in space. So if I want more splatter, that would line up because I don't have very much. There's no color there. It's all white. I could go in and add, I don't know. I'm gonna wipe this stencil down. So what did I do? I brought it back. I was looking for a place with not a lot of, no, that one's not it. That one's not it. There's quite a bit of white there. There's quite a bit of white there. There's quite a bit of white there. And I could just continue to add color until I'm happy with whatever splatter I've made. But it was all done using a tiny little stencil. Because you have the availability to move horizontally, vertically, whatever it is you need to make it go to the place you need to want, or you want it to go to. Look at that, looks good. It's my choice, it's my option. This little tool makes it happen. The engineers who came up with this little, it has to do with this hinge and this tool. It makes it perfect. So let's do another Stamperia. And this one, goodness gracious. Like opening a toy for a child on Christmas morning. This one, again, very thin. It's not thin. The plastic is thin. It's a different type of plastic, but it's very structural. You don't have to worry about it tearing. It's not going to tear. Let's take and let's bring over some black paper. So this stencil is meant to go, this part here is meant to go vertically. Not so much horizontally. It's a vertical pattern. These are a horizontal, but this is a vertical pattern, but it's only 2 deep. What if you wanted to do multiples of it? What if you wanted to go further than 2 deep? Can we do that? Well, we can. And this is where sometimes your little adapters are not going to work for you. I don't have a lot of space in this one to be able to move things around. I can try, being that the pattern is not consistent. It's not all over. With my little one here, I was able to move it anywhere I wanted to. With my one here, I was able to move it anywhere I wanted to. But because I only have this much space, can I make it go lengthwise and still use the adapter? I don't think so. Let's give it a try and let's see what happens, because sometimes you might find that the adapter doesn't always work. And I think I'm going to put the adapter on this side because I have room. So let's bring my alignment tool up. Let's put my ink over there. Let's bring my alignment tool. So I want my paper to start way down here. So maybe I'll start in the middle. So this is what I have, but I want to move it here and I want to move it here. Right now, if I wanted to go vertically, I could do plenty of room, no problem. It's a vertical stencil, but I want to use it horizontally. And I want it to go a little bit off to this side and a little bit off to that side. Not sure we're going to be able to get it done. We'll have to see. So I'm going to put my little adapter and I'm going to bring over my stencil. And it doesn't matter to me if it's on this area at all because I'm not worried about using that part of the stencil. Snap, snap, push. So I'm going to color here in hopes that I can match over there. Actually, I'm going to move this a little bit more so it's more centered. So I'm going to color here in the hopes that I can move my stencil to either side. I just don't know if the adapter is going to let me get that done. And let's use, how about copper? We'll just do it in copper. So I'm going to go in and stencil the whole thing. Because I want it wider than what the stencil is giving me. I want to be sure not to go off my side. I don't want to go into this stencil here or off my side here. And if you want to, you can absolutely mask it. Take some Post-it notes and mask it so that you're sure to not go off the sides. I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants. and hope that I'm right. All right, so if I lift it up, that's where I'm at. Now I want to try to go a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. So if I line it back up, that's good. That's where I was. If I bring it down one, that doesn't line up. I can tell right away that I'm not lined up. If I bring it down two, I can tell you right away I'm not lined up. I can see ink coming through the black. All I should see is black. If I go down four, again, I'm not lined up. If I were to stencil this, so if I were to stencil this, that's what I'm going to get. Sometimes the alignment, when you're asking a stencil to do something it wasn't intended to do, sometimes you have to say, okay, well, that's not going to work with our little alignment tool. I'm going to have to do this by hand. And that's where the sticky grid comes back into play. So let's grab another sheet of paper. Just because it has the alignment tool, and the alignment tool works for most things, but I'm asking this stencil to do something it was not intended on to do. I'm asking it to be a continuous stencil so that I can move it and move it and move it and move it, but I've got preset spacers built in here, and those spacers do not align with what is here. So you have to be willing to step outside the box a little bit. I'm going to put it down on my sticky grid. And let's try again. For everything else so far, my little adapters have worked perfectly. But this is out of the norm. This is me trying to say, I want more out of you, stencil. I paid for you. I love you. I need you to give me something horizontal, not just vertical. So now if I lift it, I'll be able to reline it up, but I will not be able to reline it up as easy as ABC 1, 2, 3 with this. So if I lift it, here I am. And it's looking good, but I want to do the sides. And this is where I have to pattern match. So I've got to find a place where the patterns will overlap and let me continue. That looks good. So I'm going to push it down. So I think I've pattern matched it pretty good. We're going to find out really quickly whether I did or not. And right now, all we're working on is black paper. So if it's not perfect, I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. I feel like that one needs to just move just a little bit that way. All right, let's give it a whirl. My pattern is too close for the spacing on the adapter. But I need the size of the platform to get this done. A smaller platform will be too small. And if I wanted to do an entire A4 sheet of paper like this and then chop it up to use it for card after card after card, or layouts, or borders, or invitations, I can. So I'm trying, anywhere I see black, I want to get some of my copper in there. All right, let's see where we are. Are we ready? I'm nervous as you are. I'm as nervous as you are. And I have pattern matched. Now I come back on this side and do the same thing. Find the place where my pattern lines up so that I can continue. I'm going to say that's close. I wonder if I should bring it over just a little bit and do this one. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Now I can clearly see that I've got a pattern match. Just manipulate it until it looks pretty good. I'm going to hope that I'm close enough, and time will tell. But I would not have been able to do this without my platform. And because that foam is on the bottom, remember we talked about that foam all that long time ago? Because I've got that foam in there, I've got structure to my platform. So it's not going in and out, and my stencil's not bending in and out. I've got structure. Who would have thought that a piece of foam would be so well, I did. I have the gush pad, and it's an important piece of foam. So am I exact? I don't know. I won't know until I'm done. But I was willing to give it a shot to see what we got, and I was exact. I need to do that one up here. But I took a stencil that has a vertical orientation, and I made it give me a horizontal finish. Could not use my adapter. Could not. The spacing was off. So if the spacing's off, have your paper slightly smaller than your stencil, and your stencil will hold to the sticky grid. It's not intended to do that, but will it? Yes. Yes, it will. You can't lift it up and look at it and lay it back down. It's not that easy. Much easier using this. But can we get around it? Yes. Do we want to get as much out of this tool as we possibly can? Yes. So here, I did it with the adapter and the spacing was off. Here I did it without the adapter and it looks perfect. Well, I need to fill it in, but you get the idea. Okay, how about we take a butterfly? Where'd that butterfly go? How about we take the butterfly? And how about we use some white paper? So the butterfly is also part of that special price. Can I use the adapter with the butterfly? I don't know. Let's try. Some people ask, do you know what you're going to do in advance? Generally not. like I know what stencils I want to play with, but do I know how I'm going to use them? No, typically not. I'm going to take that butterfly and I'm going to put the adapter on the side. It has room on the top and the bottom. It has room everywhere, but I'm going to do it on the side. I don't think it's going to give me enough room. What if I change my orientation this way? And I change my butterfly this way. Will it give me enough room then? Oh, it might. Okay, I changed the orientation of my platform this time. Which means I suppose I could go back and do it this way because this fits on my table nicer. So this time I did. I played around until I found if it was going to work. You're like, what's going to work? Well, let's see. Let's take a little bit of yellow. I'm starting in my middle. And then how about a little bit of orange in there? So it's just an experiment. All that can happen is that I wasted some white paper. That's the worst that's going to happen, is that I've wasted some white paper. Yep. So let's lift it up and see where I'm at. That looks pretty good so far, right? That looks pretty good, right? Put it back down, line it back up. Nope, that's not it. You can see that that's not it. So I'm just gonna pull it back. I only have a few options, and there we go, lined up. See, that's so much easier when you use the little adapter, but not everything works with the little adapter. And how about maybe some peony? Or no, this is magenta. So the first 7 colors of these inks launched a little while ago. We haven't put them back on sale, so we don't confuse you. These are new colors, 7 new colors, and there'll be 7 more coming a little bit later on. And then I use the metallics, which have already released. Oh, that looks good. Right? That looks great. Because I can. You're like, why are you doing that? Oh, but I went off. Darn it. That's what I get for trying to outsmart myself. All right, so there's one. Now I'm going to move it. And we'll see if it lines up. Do I want it over? No, that's too much. That one doesn't look bad. So I should clean it. See, there it is. Darn it. And then I can go back this way to the last 2. Oh. Then I can cut it. I can cut it down more so I can get it to a slimline size, but that looks good. What do you think? Yay, I'm gonna do that one again. Okay, I'm gonna try that one again. I love this. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good. I have no patience for opening their packages though. Well, I guess I could clean this one. Suppose I could just do that. Pulled it off. That's okay, my little adapter's still there. What if we do it in black? Still can't believe it won't work this way, but it just didn't. It needed to go this way. I have this. Okay, let's see what we get. I'm going to try it in black. See what happens. Wahahaha. Nope, that's not the right one. That's the right one. I like the bronze. Should I start with silver and then go in with, or should I start with platinum? So this is, I think this is platinum. So I'm not doing this because there's too many loose pieces on the stencil to pull back up. So I am daubing it. And remember, this isn't to hold it in place. This is to align it up. And I'm going to try. I went out again. Stacy, I get too excited. Okay, so I started with platinum. And then I'm going to go in with maybe just a touch of silver. Just a touch, just a smidge, and then I'm going to go in with my bronze. And I'm like, no rhyme, no reason, I'm just going for it. I went out again, but let's see what it looks like. Yummy. Look at that metallic. All right, so we're here. Now, let's take it as far as we can go here, which is the last two. Well, I could go to the last, nope, the last one takes it off. And let's do this one in all gold. So silver, bronze, and let's do this one in all gold. Okay, I think that's it. Pretty! And then let's take this one all the way over. And let's do this one in all gold. Now imagine doing this with lots of your stencils. I mean, it adds a whole new dimension to what you already own. Having the availability to just move it around at your will, at your whim. Ooh, you have an idea? Grab some paper and try it. And try it more than once. Maybe it didn't work out right the first time. I had to re-rotate my butterfly. But I got it. Oh, can't you see a box being made? Oh my gosh, I have so many ideas right now. Holy smokes, artichokes. Where'd my other one go? Anybody see what I did with, oh, here. Holy smokes, artichokes. And this time, the positioner, the alignment, the accessory, the adapter, the aligner worked perfectly. Perfectly. On this one, not so much. Here's where I overdid it because the alignment tool did not line up. And here's where I did it without the alignment tool, and it did. I guess it's kind of like you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You got to know when to align and know when to not. And the only way you're going to know is by trying. Oh my gosh, we have done so much in this class. We have, and I'm not done. There's still one more thing. All right, so the last thing I want to show you before I do an overview is bringing back that lid. Hello, lid. And remember, they gave you a lid for a reason, and the lid has a grid on top. Seeing that grid? If you put your sticky grid down properly, that grid could very well align with that sticky grid. You have a smooth and a not so smooth. What if I want to use it as a stamp positioner? Can I do that? Yes. All I have to do is I can either line up my paper so you can put your card base in any one of these 4 quadrants so that you're sure to align it up perfectly. I'm guesstimating. So I could line my card base in one of these 4 quadrants. I could grab my stamp. These are just Sizzix stamps that we pulled off the shelf. I can line it where, oh, hello you. Okay, why not? Boy, that's a really bad cut. Stacy, what were you doing? If it's not about the finished projects, right? Not today. Put my stamp right in there. I've got the grid side down. I need to flip it around. I want the smooth side. While the grid side will pick up the stamp and you will be able to use it, the smooth side's a little bit better. They gave you both sides for a reason. Give a press. It picks it up. See, my sticky grid is holding my paper. Now I'm just going to take this off and I'm going to ink it up. I haven't stamped with the stamp yet, so we'll have to see what we get. Put my lid right back on. And close it up. Oh, not bad. I have a little bit of a hole. Can you see I've got a little bit of a hole in that flower? So all I'm going to do is ink that back up. And because it's a stamp positioner, all I have to do is add my ink back and stamp again. Hopefully I got it this time. I can't tell. Nope, still not getting it. I wonder if I need to stamp off. Is that the one? I darkened it up nicely though. I'm going to try one more time. But if I didn't have the stamp positioner, I'd be done. Oh, see, I don't have any ink there. That might help. Now I might have too much ink. Close enough. I really darkened the ink up though nicely. Just have that one little spot. I think I'll put a bling there. I think that's what I'll do, is I think I'll put a bling there. What else do I have over here? And I think I have, ooh, I have Spring is in the Air. That would go nicely with that one. Pull this one off. I don't know if I like that one now. All right, just go for it. What's the worst that happens? You don't like it. I feel like it's not straight, but it says it's straight, so I'm gonna go straight. Okay, so it's down. I don't have any black ink, so let's just do it in a really dark blue. And you've got a built-in stamp positioner. So spring is in the air and up. And I'm going to darken it up. So I'm going to re-ink. Down. And up. Oh yeah, and it just keeps getting, every time I do it, it's getting a little bit darker, a little bit darker. And I'm just re-inking right like this. And the lid just comes in and out, easy peasy. Use it without the lid when we are stenciling. Use it with the lid when we are stamping. So now I've got spring is in the air. Should have put it right there. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh well. So you have now seen the stamp positioner used in a multitude of different ways. Some things for what it's intended, some things for what it's not intended for, some things we used it exactly with how they had envisioned it, and other ways we took it to our own, made it our own so that it works for us. My sticky grid is still sticky. Eventually I will need to pull it off. It will eventually not become sticky. And if you are done with it for the day and you saved your liner, you're going to put your liner back on. See, it doesn't want to stay. And you're gonna take your little Sizzix magic alignment tool and put that on, and you're gonna close it up and you're gonna store it. Up to you. This just helps keep the dust off. And when it is time to replace it, they do sell the replacements. You can get 5 sheets of A4. And they do last a really long time. This is by no means ready to be done. Everything is still sticking without any problem. We did a lot. We talked about the tool itself, how a simple tool can change the way you create, how it can become a go-to anytime you're stenciling, whether you're stenciling with a single stencil, whether you are stenciling with a super small stencil that you want to do an all over background with, whether, yeah, this one was pretty too. And I just rotated it, whether you're using a layering stencil from somebody else. Single stencil, beautiful. I'm trying to find all my little samples here. These were all easy to do, whether you use the little adapters for everybody else's stencil, or you are working with an actual Sizzix stencil that already has the holes in for you. At that point, you still need the green tool. Don't try to line your stencils up with the top holes here. It's not their intent. They're not the same size, they're not the same diameter, and your stencil does not stick does not stay in as well. They are meant for your, let's pull the lid. They're meant to click in, and you actually can hear them. They kind of click in place, and then it doesn't move. They're totally different. Nowhere else do you have the opportunity to move around, to make something continuous when it wasn't meant to be continuous. It all lies in this little doodad and these little doodads. So you've seen it now. You've seen what I've done with it. You've decided whether, oh my gosh, this is going to make your life so much easier. Honorary SMS girl Patty says she will never stencil again without it because she's not a good stenciler. She says she's not, but she's never been able to get the alignment the way, even with my stencils, she struggles. And here now she's able to do it again and again and again. You have to make that decision. It is an investment. It's not like crazy, but it's also not like buying a $9.99 stencil. It will, however, take that $9.99 stencil and perhaps give you something that will be far more than what that $10 stencil started as because of this. It's a world of difference. Okay, so the way we've done this is we've done 2 bundles, and the only way I'm able to do this is by having Sizzix drop ship the item. So there is no free shipping on the tool. It's only $5.95. Even if you spend $50 for free shipping, the tool is still gonna run you $5.95 to ship it. We've done the tool and a set of 10 of the adapters for $49.99. That's a smoking hot price. It really is. And Sizzix is gonna send it directly to you. So this is the bundle. You cannot get the tool any other way except for with our little adapters for $49 and, or is it $48.99? Maybe we did $48.99. It was a smoking hot deal. Then we bundled the 80-pound white smooth paper from Sizzix, 60 sheets of it. We bundled that. We bundled another full set of sticky grid, and we bundled another set of the adapters. That's the second bundle, if you would like to have it. Can you buy these open stock? Yes, you can buy as many as you want. If you just need the sticky grid, you can get that too. Maybe you just want the white paper. But here is the bundle, and this is shipping from Scrapbooking Made Simple. So the only thing that would be coming to you from Sizzix is the tool and the little sticky, or the little adapters that come with it. However, we have the paper, we have the sticky grid, we have the adapters. That's your second bundle. Your third bundle are the 2 brand new, beautiful layering stencils from Sizzix that work with the machine fabulously, or the tool. I always want to say machine. They already have the little holes in them. You use the magic aligner upper alignment tool to make them work, and you can position them anywhere you want and then grab your stamps and go ahead and put your sentiment in because you've got a stamp platform as well. The other bundle we have for you is the Crafter's Companion bundle. And you saw me do this one. This one was the script. I did the script where we were able to open it up and look at it and see if we needed to do more. I did the splats, and that was in the all over. I just showed it to you. You never know what I'm gonna put my stuff when I put it down. How could it be here 1 minute and gone the minute next? But you saw it. Oh, wait. Splats. I took this little stencil and I did this whole sheet because I was able to use the alignment tool. I was able to see what I was doing, no problem. I used both the heart and the butterfly today, and I used the dots, the big polka dots. 8x8, 6x6, and these are 5x5. This bundle is $9.99. You get all of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stencils for $9.99. That way, if you get the platform, you've got a lovely set of stencils to get yourself going, and you can do exactly what I did on this class. You can get these, come back, and you can sit with me, and we can do them together. Grab whatever inks make your heart happy. I also have a select amount of Stamperia stencils. This isn't all of them. We have a large collection. We just don't have a lot of any of them. And I brought them in because they are large format stencils, because you can get so much more with them because of the stencil and stamp platform. You can use things this big and just do this one strip and have this one strip a continuous border for your layout. Have this one strip a continuous border for your layout. Absolutely. Look at all the things you can use. And because you have the opportunity to realign and look and see. So I brought in a select amount of Stamperia. This isn't all of them. There's more than this, but there's just not a lot of any one of them. So we have that for you. I have all the inks that I was using today from Color Pad. These are our pigment-based inks. There's 7 new colors, including the one that doesn't have the matching lid. Let me get the blue off there. There we go, back to normal. So this is magenta, and we have all the re-inkers to go with it. So those are on sale, brand new, never here at Scrapbooking Made Simple before. So if you have the first 7, here are the next 7. And then we did the 7 of the metallics, and the metallics we've had before. I've got all 7 of them, and I've got the re-inkers to go with. Oh, I'm squeaking. I've got daubers for you. It's all on sale. You'll see it all as part of the YouTube Yummies. It's all there for you. The most important thing is, did you feel like you learned something today? Do you feel like you understand the tool better than you did before we started? That is what a do's and don'ts class is about. Don't use these nibs to line for your stencils. Do use the alignment tool all the time. Don't. Stencil, please. Don't try to make holes for your stencil so that they will fit on the tool. Don't try and make your own holes. It's never going to work. These are a very specific size. Never gonna work. Do get the adapters that will give you the opportunity to line them up perfect every time. Take it off your paper, look at it, say, nope, I want it different, and put it right back down without even thinking about it. Lots of do's, very few don'ts. But if you focus on the do's and stay away from the don'ts, you are going to have just a beautiful, magnificent time with this tool. Samples. I have oodles of samples. This is using the Crafter's Companion stencil from the bundle. This is the one that I layered on top of each other, layered and layered and layered. So I had a layering look without a layering stencil. Sizzix. Now, Sizzix has a whole group of young makers working on this for us, and I want to give them a shout out because they have done a magnificent job. Part of these are Scrapbooking Made Simple, and part of these are Sizzix makers who are just starting to get their feet wet and really enjoying the opportunity. Ooh, this one's ours. This is Gail. Wow, Gail, that's beautiful. That's with the stencil. All of these were done using stencils. Again, some from our SMS girls and honorary SMS girls. Look at how pretty is that. That's a Stamperia stencil. It's beautiful. Oh, and then look at the shaker. Okay, you guys, you need to put your names on the back of everything. Every sample needs to have a name on the back so I can give credit where credit is due. This is a Sizzix layering stencil. Look at how fun is this. Using the balloon stencil as part of the $9.99 bundle. Sizzix layering stencil. And you can see how they've been cut down so they don't have to stay 6 by 6. Ooh, pretty. Hello, Patty. Well done, you. And then look at how darling is this. Kelly, bless your pea picking heart, Kelly Smith. Everybody go find Kelly Smith on Instagram. She put her name on the back of it so I can give her credit where credit is due. Well done, you. This one's done by Patty too. Patty, you really rocked it. Patty is an honorary SMS girl. Stencils, all stencils being used. Yes, this is a Stamperia stencil. This one was done by honorary SMS girl Katie. So I know this class was long. 3.5 hours, I bet. Okay, you told me everything you used, but you didn't tell me who you are. Look at even on the inside. All right, Sizzix peeps, put your names on the back of them so I can give you credit. My girls have to put the name on the back so I know. Again, this one's Patty. We have Patty and Gail and Mary. Oh, here we go. Handmade for you by Brenda Deloyer. Is that it? By Brenda Deloyer. Is that right? Is that right? Look at how cute is this. All of these makers did magnificent makes. They're all slightly different. They've got their own personality, their own style. I need names. Honorary SMS girl Katie did this one. That is a stencil. Here we have the Sizzix stencil. So cute. Here somebody did, one of my girls, Mary, did the same thing with the dots. She moved them around and used different colored inks. We're looking forward to honorary SMS girl Yvette coming back. She's been visiting with her family. Look at how this is. And then they mosaicked it. They cut it up and cornered it. So you have a color block going on. They didn't take the whole stencil and just put it there. They cut it up and added some element to it. It gives it some dimension and some depth by doing that, as opposed to just using the entire stencil. So pretty. I have got oodles of samples. Here, this one is Patty, SMS girl Patty. Ooh, right? Pretty. And again, with those dots, this one is Katie, and look at how soft and subtle she has those little dots. Just wanted to say thank you. Well, Tanya Brooks Design, thank you too. Thank you to you. You put your name on the back of them. Woohoo for Tanya. Woohoo. All of these peeps are on Instagram. I want you to know where to go to follow them. Hello, Tanya. Love it. It's about giving credit where credit is due. Oh, I tapped into Tanya's. These are all Tanya's. Aren't they stunning? But then I have this one. And I love this one too, but I don't know who made it. And it's got a little reactive going on with the water. The little droplets. Yum. Wishing you joy. Oh, this one is ours. This is Katie. It is. She did the same thing with the balloons. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how soft and subtle. And here you've got Sizzix opulent paper going on and vellum. It's just, this is beautiful. Look at how she layered those. Those are beautiful. It's done with a stencil. You can do this. Soft ink, easy peasy. Cherish every moment. This one was done by Gail, and you've got the Stamperia stencil going on. And then we've got Sending Well Wishes Your Way. Oh, I can't read it. Is it Milla? Milla or Nilla? Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't read it. But it's beautiful. You did a great job, Milla Lampion. I'm not sure if that's right, but you did a beautiful job. And this one is, yeah, it's flakes. It's Patty. Look at that with the stencil. So she inked right on top of flakes. Beautiful. Oh, love the colors. It's a bag. Shut the front door. Susan Babcock. Hello, Susan Babcock. You can send me a little treat in this goodie bag any day. Hello, you. Yes, it is fabulous. And no, it's not my birthday. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Well done, you. Susan Babcock. Yay. Love it. This is us. This is this SMS girl. Oh, and I think this is beautiful. Mary, this is absolutely gorgeous. She used the stencil on the back. Beautiful. Brenda Deloyer, I hope I'm saying that right. This is lovely. I love the color choices. Well done. Stunning. Oh my gosh. And Catherine, honorary SMS girl Catherine. Oh my gosh, woman, this is beautiful, Catherine. Oh, yum. Wow. Oh, and this is Catherine too. And she did the back side as well. Sending happiness. Just a note to say hello. Here we just used a little bit of the stencil right up in the corner. That's it, just a little bit of the stencil right up in the corner. Oh, and this is so pretty. They used the stencil so it met in the middle. Lovely. What a great way to use the stencil. It is. It's Milla. Milla Lampion? Lampion. I'm going to go with that. Beautiful job. Very smart. Very creative. Have a wonderful day. Love the color blocking on this. Love the grays and the pop of red. Pretty, right? So pretty. And then I've got an Easter egg done with the Sizzix stencil. Oh, just a note to say hello. Oh, so cute. That's a Sizzix die. I have got Catherine, who made a charming little book, and she has stenciled on all of the pages. Just a charming little book where she's just added a little bit of distressing, a little bit of stenciling. So cute. Catherine, well done you. Just darling, there's the heart. Isn't this so cute? And she did this in no time at all. Bless her pea pickin' heart. I have got a bookmark made out of the Sizzix stencils. I have got this beautiful green. Look at the metallic on that. Yum. And then they didn't put their name down, but she did a note set. Look at how lovely is this. Isn't that fabulous using the Sizzix stencils? And she did them in A2 size. Happy birthday. Welcome, little one, thinking of you. Have a wonderful day. That's just, they're lovely. They're absolutely lovely. And then the last thing I have is a layout. And honorary SMS girl, Gail, did the layout. She stenciled the background. So pretty. The colors are just lovely. All right, you guys. Yes, it was long. One of my longest for sure. But it wouldn't be a do's and a don'ts video if I didn't show you what you needed to see, or if I didn't try to assume and guesstimate, because that's really what I'm doing, is I'm trying to think, well, when I started playing with the tool, I was doing it completely wrong. I was, and I got fed up, and I pushed it aside, and I literally said, pass, no thank you, next, bye-bye, Felicia. I was done with it. But I had to think to myself, I know Sizzix better than that. They wouldn't put something out that wasn't top-notch, gold standard, what is it, a stamp of good housekeeping mark on it. They just wouldn't. So I went back and I sat with it again, and I had this aha moment. And then I called them after I had my aha moment, and I said, is this what you're supposed to do with it? And I got a few people on the phone, and they said, well, yeah, isn't it, doesn't that make sense? No, I looked at those two little knobs at the top and thought that's where the stencils go. Didn't even realize that there were adapters so I could use everything else. I didn't know. And what I didn't know, I didn't know. But now that I know, I want you to know. So, Sizzix, I hope you are okay with my do's and don'ts of your stencil and stamp tool. I hope that I was able to answer questions for not only the SMS peeps, but some of your customers as well. I hope I was able to show how a foundational tool like this can travel with you your entire crafty journey. And as more product comes out, you will see even more benefit of having that larger base. I know that that was a big sticking point for a lot of people. It's so big. There's a reason. And today I showed you some of that reason. I used A4 stencils. I did. So it is me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, saying thank you for being part of today. If you had to watch this in chunks, thank you for watching it in chunks. And even if all you took away from this is, it's not for me, then I'm happy, because I want you to get things that are for you. And spending money on something that you won't use or you won't be happy with does not make my heart happy. So if all you took away was, ooh, I love the stencils, I'm going to get that $9.99 deal, but I'm going to pass on the platform, okay. You do what works best for you and your creativity. And at least now you know before you've spent your money. Money is hard to come by. I work for every dollar I have. And I don't like to waste it either. So, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Ellison, for, well, you can't tell me really what to do. So, thank you for just being a really great partner with Scrapbooking Made Simple. Wahoo Kachoo. Yay! Thank you for drop shipping those for me. Otherwise, we would never be able to bring them. So thank you for that. And I will see you all on Monday for 2 videos. I have the 2024 Tim Holtz From the Vault launch at 9 a.m. Monday morning, January 1st, 2024. And I have got such a free gift for you. The free gift is retail valued at over $70. Let me just say that. If you buy the bundle, I've got a $70 retail gift for you that retails for $70. And then I will be back at 5 p.m. for our Make It Monday event using that $70 gift, because if you didn't want the Tim Holtz bundle, but you still wanted that $70 item, but it'll be $19.99 at 5 p.m. sunny California time. So 2 videos on Monday. All right, you guys, it's me, Stacy. It's been long. I'm here. Everybody's gone. I'm going to go load this video, and I will see you for our live chat, 8 a.m. sunny California time. Well, we were already live chatting, so you already know what time it is. All right, you guys. Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Bye.